Welcome, parents, to the second episode of MiniVits, a series of mini episodes aimed at providing condensed information on your child's nutrition and health. I'm your host, Nicola, with my co-host, Chris. Now, we're here today to talk about iron and anemia caused by low levels of iron in the blood of our little ones. But don't worry, we'll sprinkle in some humour to keep things light and engaging. Adequate iron intake is essential for optimal childhood and, of course, teenage growth. Moreover, these requirements are the highest during childhood and early adulthood in comparison to later on in life. The latest evidence, published in 2017 by the UK National Screening Committee, suggested that around 1 to 3 children in 100 in the UK may have iron deficiency anemia.
100%. I think it's better to kick things off with a bit of Iron 101. So imagine now Iron as the unsung hero in your child's body, quietly working behind the scenes to keep them healthy and full of energy. You know, Iron is like the VIP guest at the party of healthy red blood cells. So these little cells are the life of the party, just shuttling oxygens around the body like a bunch of enthusiastic delivery drivers. Iron basically helps the oxygen to attach on the red blood cells and be carried around the body for multiple processes. But here's the thing. So sometimes, especially with toddlers, iron decides to go on a strike. Something that happens quite regularly with trains in this country, for example. When it goes, shots fired. When it goes missing, we end up with a party pooper called iron deficiency anemia. And let me tell you, it's not a fun time. Now, picture your little one feeling like they've run a marathon when all they did was play with their toys. They might even feel a bit woozy, like they've been on a dizzying roller coaster ride. And as for their appetite, well, I mean, let's just say it takes a little vacation. But don't worry, because together, today, we're going to send iron deficiency anemia packing.
Absolutely. And what are the top iron rich foods to add to your grocery list? I hear you ask. Well, there are two main types of iron found in our food, and that's heme and non heme iron. And here's a scoop: they each have their own way of being absorbed in the body. Now, heme iron, for instance, is like the rock star of iron sources because it gets absorbed very efficiently. You'll find heme iron hanging out in meats like chicken, fish, beef, pork, and even liver. Red meat, like beef and lamb, pack 3 times more iron punch compared to fish and chicken. Now, on the flip side, we've got non heme iron, which is the iron found in our plant based foods like grains, veggies, tofu, beans, leafy greens, nuts, alongside iron fortified cereals. It's like the quiet achiever of the iron world, still bringing the goods, but in a slightly different way. Now, here's a pro tip for all you busy parents out there. Pair iron rich foods with sources of vitamin C, like oranges or, of course, bell peppers. And why, you ask? Because vitamin C is like the secret weapon in our arsenal, helping our bodies absorb iron more efficiently. It's a dynamic duo that's sure to keep your child feeling unstoppable, which is exactly what we want. Fruit and vegetables are good sources of vitamin C. So again, oranges, orange juice, kiwi, blueberries, raspberries, tomatoes, green peppers, and broccoli could be great additions to pair with.
Yeah, definitely. And so, a fun fact in Greece, like we eat, for example, loads of lentil soups, chickpea soups, like legume soups. And
Yeah.
we also, as you probably guys know, eat loads of feta cheese. So we combine basically a calcium rich thing with iron rich food. And as I'm going to talk about a bit later, that doesn't work really well. And
Uh,
many people don't know about vitamin C as well. So I feel like you guys got a good lesson today about your kids' nutrition. So, as I mentioned, we're gonna talk about the party poopers, the foods and drinks that can put a damper on our iron absorption parade. So first up, we've got tea. Now I know, although we live in the UK, the fanatics of tea, it's not that common for British toddlers, I think, at least, to sip on a cup of tea. However, many children, I think, after the age of 4, they may start falling into, the British stereotype of tea drinking. Is that true, Nicola?
yeah, yeah, I would say so. I mean, I can remember drinking tea when I was, quite a little one, definitely from, 6, 7.
Okay, all right. I mean, the equal one would be us starting drinking like Freddo espresso at 4 years old. Fortunately, this doesn't happen. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. For
No.
some kids, it does, but I don't know. I don't want to,
I
imagine
think
the
one's
side
different,
effects.
aren't they? And I think there's definitely a possibility. I mean, I was brought up by a big tea drinker, but me myself now, I'm probably not so much. So I think I'd be slightly different with my kids, than what she was with me.
hmm Um, so yeah, we talked about tea, but why is it a problem? So unfortunately, tea's got this sneaky way of telling our bodies, hey, don't absorb that iron. It's not that cool. So save the tea for a couple of hours after your kid's meal. So of course you can still give your children tea. Just make sure there's a gap there. Next on the list, cow's milk and anything dairy. As I mentioned, for example, feta cheese. So while cow's milk is creamy and delicious and cheese tastes really good, it's not exactly an iron powerhouse, especially for babies under a year old. So give those little ones a pass on milk and opt for breast milk or iron fortified formula instead. So that's for the first, as I said, for their first year of life. But also, iron can, I mean, as I mentioned, iron and calcium sources do not go that well, and calcium typically doesn't allow iron to be absorbed that easily. But also, let's not forget about the bran. So, unprocessed bran, so high bran breads and cereals that are chock full of bran, may seem like a healthy choice. Of course, they are, but they've got a secret agenda in iron absorption. They are actually iron absorption blockers in a way. So wild bran, as I mentioned, has many benefits and offers us loads of vitamins. It's better to keep it in separate meals from your iron-rich sources. And remember, folks, iron absorption is the name of the game. So let's keep those iron-blocking foods and drinks at bay and make room for the real iron MVPs. Last but not least, let's talk about the power of prevention. As we always mention, regular checkups with your pediatrician are crucial for catching iron deficiency anemias early on. So, if iron levels are very low on a blood test, then it may be recommended that an iron supplement is prescribed for 8 weeks or more. The doctor may also request a repeat blood test just to check if the iron levels are back to normal. And of course, we can't forget about the importance of those supplements. Think of them Think of them as the trusty sidekick to your child's iron-rich diet, swooping in to save the day when their iron levels need a boost. Just to be sure, of course, consult with your pediatrician first, because even superheroes need a little guidance now and then. So when you take off those headphones and close Spotify, schedule those appointments. And something else I want to mention is that supplements are there to save the day, but they cannot be used for a prolonged period of time. So nutrition is the most important thing. Is the thing that your children are going to be consuming on a daily basis. No pediatrician is going to give you supplements for the rest of your life. So just educating yourselves and educating your children and providing them with a iron-rich foods is what is the basis for avoiding iron deficiency anemia and all the side effects that come with it.
Yeah, and I think, nobody wants to see those side effects within their own children either. So really, really great point there. Well, folks, that's probably a wrap on today's episode of MiniVits. Remember, with a healthy dose of iron-rich foods, a sprinkle of supplements where they might be needed and where they've been recommended, of course, and a dash of superhero spirit, you can keep your child feeling strong, vibrant, and ready to take on the world.
Yeah. Until next time, this is your host, Chris, and your
And
co host.
Nicola,
Signing off. Stay iron strong, parents. See you next time.
thanks for listening.